Ladies and gentlemen, there's a saying that resonates deeply with the dreamers, the doers, and the fighters. Work hard in silence and let success make the noise. But let me ask you, how many times have you let negative feelings, doubts, and the whispers of discouragement hold you back? How often have you felt like shouting your intentions to the world just to prove you're worthy, only to feel drained and distracted when the results didn't come fast enough? Today, I'm here to tell you that greatness isn't built in the spotlight, it's born in the quiet moments, in the unseen hours when no one is cheering for you, no one is watching, and sometimes no one believes in you, not even yourself. Silence is a powerful thing. In a world that's louder than ever, with social media, constant notifications, and a society that demands immediate validation, it takes courage to embrace silence. But let me tell you something. Silence is where true strength resides. Silence is where transformation happens. It's in the quiet moments, away from the noise, that you discover who you are and what you're capable of. Too many people get caught up in the need to announce their intentions. They tell the world what they're going to do, seeking approval or recognition before they've even taken the first step. But here's the truth. Talking about your dreams won't make them real. Action does. The energy you spend trying to convince others could be better used building something tangible, something extraordinary. You don't need to broadcast your plans to the world. You need to execute them in the shadows. The less you explain yourself, the more energy you'll have to focus on doing the work. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean you're hiding or running away. It means you're reserving your energy for the battles that matter. Silence is discipline. It's the refusal to let external validation dictate your self-worth. When you're silent, you give yourself space to reflect, to grow, and to listen. Not to the noise of the world, but to your inner voice. That voice, the one that speaks when the distractions fade, is the only one that truly matters. It knows your potential even when you doubt it. It reminds you why you started, even when the journey gets hard. Negative feelings thrive in noise. They feed off comparison, judgment, and the constant barrage of opinions from others. But when you embrace silence, you take control of your narrative. You stop letting the world tell you who you are and start deciding that for yourself. You stop worrying about who's watching or what they're saying. Instead, you focus on what you're building, one step at a time. When you work in silence, something magical happens. You begin to see progress, not because you're looking for applause, but because you're putting in the effort day in and day out. Silence creates momentum. It allows you to focus on the process instead of the outcome. And when you focus on the process, the results take care of themselves. Before you know it, your progress will speak so loudly that you won't need to say a word. People will see your growth, your transformation, and your achievements without you ever having to point them out. But let's be clear, silence isn't easy. It's tempting to seek validation, especially when you're surrounded by a world that seems to thrive on it. It's tempting to share your plans and wait for others to cheer you on. But here's what you need to understand. The loudest noise often comes from those who are doing the least. The people who are truly making moves, building their dreams, and overcoming obstacles. They're too busy to shout about it. They let their results do the talking. So, I challenge you to embrace the power of silence. The next time you're tempted to post about your goals, stop and ask yourself, am I seeking validation or am I ready to do the work? The next time someone doubts you or criticizes you, don't waste your breath trying to convince them otherwise. Use their doubt as fuel and prove them wrong with your results. The next time negativity creeps in, remind yourself that silence is not the absence of power, it's the source of it. Every great achievement starts in the quiet. The hours of practice no one sees. The sacrifices no one acknowledges. The moments of self-doubt you overcome alone. Those are the building blocks of success. When you embrace silence, you embrace the process. And when you embrace the process, there's nothing you can't achieve. Remember, the world doesn't need to hear about your potential. It needs to witness your greatness. And the only way to do that is to work hard in silence. Let your actions speak louder than your words, and let your success make all the noise. Negative feelings are inevitable. At some point, every single one of us feels doubt, fear, frustration, or even anger. These emotions can feel like chains holding us back, keeping us stuck in place. But here's the truth. Negative feelings don't have to be your enemy. They can become your greatest source of power. It all depends on how you choose to respond to them. When you experience negative feelings, the first thing to understand is that they aren't the problem. They're natural. They're human. What matters is what you do with them. Most people let these feelings paralyze them. They sit in fear and self-doubt, letting those emotions convince them that they're not good enough, not capable, or not worthy of success. But successful people see those same emotions and use them as fuel to push forward. They don't run from negative feelings. They harness them. Take doubt, for example. Doubt can be a powerful emotion, but it doesn't have to be destructive. When someone doubts you, it can sting. It can feel like a slap in the face. But what if you flip that script? What if you use their doubt as motivation to prove them wrong? Instead of letting it weigh you down, you channel it into action. Every time someone tells you, you can't do it, let that be the reason you wake up earlier, work harder, and push further than you thought you could. Imagine how satisfying it will be to show them what you're truly capable of. Not with words, but with undeniable results. Fear is another emotion that often holds people back. It whispers lies in your ear, telling you to stop, to stay safe, to avoid failure at all costs. But here's the thing about fear. It's a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And stepping out of your comfort zone is the only way to grow. Instead of letting fear stop you, let it guide you, let it point you toward the areas where you need to push harder. Use that nervous energy to fuel your focus, your preparation, and your determination. Fear isn't there to break you. It's there to shape you into someone stronger. Even anger can be transformed into something positive. Anger can be destructive if you let it control you, but it can also be a powerful force if you channel it correctly. Think about the times you felt angry because you were overlooked, underestimated, or treated unfairly. That anger doesn't have to consume you. It can drive you. Let it fuel your commitment to rise above your circumstances and prove, not to others, but to yourself, that you are capable of more. One of the most important steps in turning negative feelings into fuel is acknowledging them. You can't ignore or suppress these emotions and expect them to go away. Instead, face them head on. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is this emotion trying to tell me? Sometimes negative feelings are a sign that something needs to change. Maybe you need to push harder, step back and refocus, or adjust your approach. By understanding the root of your emotions, you can use them to guide you in the right direction. Another critical step is reframing your perspective. Negative feelings often come from the way we interpret our circumstances. If you see failure as a sign of weakness, it will break you. But if you see it as a lesson, it becomes a stepping stone to success. If you see criticism as an attack, it will hurt you. But if you see it as feedback, it becomes an opportunity to improve. The way you frame your emotions determines whether they hold you back or push you forward. Finally, take action. Negative feelings lose their power when you channel them into action. The more you focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your choices, the less power negativity will have over you. When you feel doubt, work harder. When you feel fear, take one small step forward. When you feel anger, let it push you to rise above the situation. Action turns emotions into momentum, and momentum turns potential into progress. Remember, you're in control. You can let negative feelings drain you, or you can let them fuel you. The choice is yours. The next time you feel doubt, fear, or frustration, remind yourself, these emotions are not the end of the road. They're just the beginning. They're the spark you need to ignite your fire. Use them, channel them, and let them propel you toward the greatness that's waiting on the other side. The people you surround yourself with can either elevate you to new heights or drag you down into mediocrity. You've heard it said you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. That's not just a catchy phrase, it's the truth. Your environment shapes your mindset, your beliefs, and ultimately your destiny. If you want to overcome negative feelings and achieve greatness, you need to make a conscious decision to surround yourself with positive influences. Positive influences aren't just people who cheer you on. They're people who challenge you, inspire you, and hold you accountable. They believe in your potential even when you don't, and they push you to rise above your excuses. These are the kinds of people who don't just talk about success, they embody it. They show you what's possible through their actions, and their energy motivates you to strive for more. But let's be honest, not everyone in your current circle is going to fit that description. Some people are energy vampires. They drain your enthusiasm with their negativity, their constant complaints, and their small-minded thinking. These are the people who discourage you, criticize you, or try to pull you back down whenever you start to rise. They're not necessarily bad people, but their mindset is limited. And if you're not careful, that mindset can become contagious. You have to protect your energy like it's a precious resource, because it is. That means setting boundaries with people who bring negativity into your life. It doesn't mean you have to cut them off completely, but you do need to limit their influence. If every conversation with someone leaves you feeling discouraged or doubtful, it's time to reassess how much access they have to your time and energy. Owe it to yourself to create a space where positivity can thrive. Once you've created those boundaries, the next step is to actively seek out people who lift you up. Look for individuals who share your drive, your ambition, and your commitment to growth. These are the people who see challenges as opportunities, who focus on solutions instead of problems, and who celebrate your wins as if they were their own. Surrounding yourself with people like this isn't just about encouragement. It's about exposure. When you're around people who think bigger, you start thinking bigger. When you're around people who refuse to settle, you start raising your own standards. Positive influences don't always have to be people you know personally. Books, podcasts, speeches, and even online communities can provide the inspiration and guidance you need. In a world where you have access to the wisdom of some of the greatest minds in history, there's no excuse to let negativity dominate your life. Find mentors, whether in person or virtually, who have walked the path you're on and can show you what's possible. Learn from their experiences and adopt their mindset. It is also important to remember that being surrounded by positive influences isn't a one-way street. You have to bring something to the table too. Positivity is a reciprocal energy. It grows when it's shared. Be the kind of person who uplifts others, who supports their dreams, and who leads by example. When you contribute positivity to your relationships, you create an environment where everyone can thrive. You attract more of the energy you put out into the world. So make sure you're giving what you hope to receive. Changing your circle isn't always easy. Sometimes it means making tough choices about who you spend your time with. It might even mean stepping away from certain relationships that no longer align with your goals. That can be painful, but growth requires sacrifice. Remember, this is your life. You have one shot at it, and you deserve to spend it surrounded by people who want. The right people will challenge you to rise above your fears and doubts. They'll remind you of your worth when you're struggling to see it yourself. They'll celebrate your victories, help you learn from your failures. Most importantly, they'll inspire you to become the best version of yourself. Surrounding yourself with positive influences isn't just a nice idea, it's a necessity. It's one of the most important decisions you'll ever make, and it has the power to transform your life. Choose your circle wisely, because the people around you will either fuel your fire or extinguish it. And if you want to rise above the noise of negativity, you need every bit of that fire burning bright. Perfection is an illusion that often holds us back from recognizing just how far we've come. Too many people measure their progress against an unattainable standard, constantly focusing on what they haven't done or what didn't go exactly as planned. But here's the truth. Progress, no matter how small, is what truly matters. Celebrating progress, not perfection, is the key to maintaining motivation, overcoming self-doubt, and building the resilience you need to succeed. When you fixate on perfection, you set yourself up for disappointment. Perfection tells you that nothing is ever good enough, that you can't stop to acknowledge your efforts until everything is flawless. It whispers that mistakes define you and that progress doesn't count unless it looks exactly how you imagined it. But the reality is, no one's journey is perfect. Everyone stumbles, everyone makes mistakes, and everyone faces setbacks. What separates those who succeed from those who give up is the ability to appreciate progress, even when it's messy, imperfect, or slower than they'd like. Progress is where growth happens. It's in the small steps you take every day, the consistent effort you put in even when no one is watching. It's in the moments when you push through discomfort, learn from failure, and keep moving forward despite the obstacles in your way. Every bit of progress, no matter how small, is proof that you're moving closer to your goals. It's evidence of your resilience, your dedication, and your commitment to becoming better than you were yesterday. Celebrating progress doesn't mean settling for less or becoming complacent. It means acknowledging the effort you've made and using it as fuel to keep going. It's about giving yourself credit for showing up, even on the days when it's hard. When you celebrate progress, you shift your focus from what's missing to what's already been achieved. That shift in perspective is powerful because it reminds you that you're capable of growth, that you're making strides, and the success is built one step at a time. Think about it. Every major accomplishment is the result of countless small victories. The athlete who wins a championship didn't do it in one game. It came from years of training, thousands of hours of practice, and countless moments of pushing through exhaustion and doubt. Entrepreneur who builds a thriving business didn't achieve it overnight. It came from learning, adapting, and persevering through failure after failure. By celebrating each step along the way, they kept their motivation alive and their vision clear. When you celebrate progress, you also create a positive feedback loop. Acknowledging your efforts releases a sense of accomplishment and pride, which boosts your confidence and encourages you to keep going. It's a reminder that your hard work is paying off, even if the ultimate goal still feels far away. That sense of pride and encouragement becomes a powerful force that propels you forward, helping you build momentum and stay consistent. Of course, celebrating progress requires a shift in mindset. You have to let go of the belief that perfection is the only measure of success. Instead, focus on setting realistic milestones and recognizing the progress you've made toward achieving them. If you're working on a fitness goal, don't wait until you've reached your ideal weight or strength to celebrate. Acknowledge the fact that you showed up at the gym today or made a healthier food choice. If you're pursuing a career goal, don't wait until you land the promotion. Celebrate the skills you've developed or the connections you've made along the way. It's also important to celebrate progress in a way that feels meaningful to you. This doesn't mean throwing a party every time you hit a milestone, unless that's your style. It could be as simple as taking a moment to reflect on your journey, journaling about your achievements, or treating yourself to something small that brings you joy. The point is to take time to acknowledge your efforts and honor the progress you've made. Finally, remember that celebrating progress doesn't mean ignoring the areas where you can improve. It's about balancing self-compassion with self-awarenesses. You can acknowledge your growth while still striving to be better. In fact, when you focus on progress instead of perfection, you free yourself from the fear of failure and give yourself permission to keep learning, experimenting, and growing. Every step forward is a victory. Every lesson learned, every challenge overcome, and every moment of effort adds up to something extraordinary. Don't let the pursuit of perfection rob you of the joy that comes from recognizing your progress. Celebrate the journey, because that's where success is truly built. There's a unique power in letting your results do the talking. In a world where so many people are eager to announce their intentions, broadcast their plans, and seek validation before they've accomplished anything, choosing to let your work speak for itself sets you apart. It's a quiet, unshakable confidence that says, I don't need to tell you what I'm capable of. You'll see it soon enough. When you focus on producing results instead of making noise, you redirect your energy toward what truly matters, action. Words are easy. Anyone can say they're going to achieve something great, but very few are willing to do the hard, often unglamorous work required to make it happen. Talking about your plans might feel good in the moment, but it doesn't bring you any closer to achieving your goals. On the other hand, putting your head down, staying consistent, and delivering results not only builds your confidence, but also speaks volumes about your character and commitment. Results are undeniable. They cut through doubt, criticism, and negativity like a blade. When you achieve something tangible, it becomes impossible for anyone to ignore. Results don't need explanations or defenses. They are the proof. They tell the story of your hard work, resilience, and determination far more effectively than any words ever could. People might question your methods, your timing, or even your abilities, but when you deliver results, their doubts are silenced. One of the greatest advantages of letting your results speak for you is the way it protects your energy. Engaging in arguments, justifying your actions, or seeking approval can be exhausting and distracting. Every moment you spend trying to prove yourself to others is a moment you could be using to make progress toward your goals. When you choose to focus on results instead of validation, you conserve that energy and channel it into what really matters, your growth and success. Letting your results speak for you also builds a reputation that can't be manufactured. Anyone can craft an image or talk a big game, but true credibility comes from consistent performance. When people see the results of your efforts, they begin to trust you, not because of what you've said, but because of what you've shown, whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal growth. Results create a lasting impact that words simply can't match. This mindset requires patience and discipline. It can be tempting to share your plans, especially when you're excited about what you're working on. But sometimes sharing too soon can dilute your focus. When you talk about your goals before you've achieved them, you risk becoming more attached to the idea of the goal than to the actual process of achieving it. The journey to producing meaningful results isn't always easy. There will be moments when you feel overlooked, doubted, or underestimated. But those moments are opportunities in disguise. They give you the chance to prove to yourself and to others that your dedication isn't dependent on recognition. When you stay consistent despite the lack of applause, you develop a kind of inner strength that can't be shaken. And when the results finally come, they'll speak louder than anything you could have said. They'll tell the world that you're someone who follows through, who delivers on their promises, and who doesn't let noise distract them from their purpose. People will notice. Opportunities will find you. Respect will come naturally. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it. Letting your results speak for you isn't just about proving others wrong, it's about proving yourself right. It's about showing yourself what you're capable of when you commit fully to the process. It's about creating a legacy that's built on substance, not empty words. So, Focus on the work. Embrace the grind. Keep your head down and stay committed even when no one is watching. Because when the time comes, your results will say everything that needs to be said. They'll tell the story of your effort, your perseverance, and your success in a way that no words ever could.